I can't wait to find out what my sun sign really means in traditional astrology.
Ah, but did you know, Ella, that traditional astrologers placed far less emphasis on the sun sign for personality than modern astrologers do? For them, the rising sign often took precedence.
Wait, are you saying the sun sign isn't that important in traditional astrology?
By the brilliance of the celestial spheres, Ella, quite the opposite. The sun is the foundation of astrology. It defines the rhythm of time, governs the cycle of life, and stands as the great cosmic ruler.
But I really identify with my sun sign. Are you saying that in traditional astrology, the sun doesn't really focus on the individual?
Ah, but that is where traditional astrology reveals its depth. The sun isn't just about personality, it's about essence, purpose, and the divine order of existence. It's the source of life itself, the measure of time, and the sovereign force in the cosmic hierarchy.
So what you're saying is, the sun is kind of a big deal?
More than a big deal, Ella, it's the diurnal luminary, the cosmic king, the light that reveals truth. And today, we're going to examine exactly why it holds such a central place in traditional astrology. Welcome back to the 8th episode of Learning Traditional Astrology. I'm Arlo, your guide to classical astrology, and today we have the full team with us. Ella, Clara, Katrina, Cherry. Let's hear those introductions.
Thanks, Arlo. I'm Ella. I've been studying modern astrology for 3 years, and now I'm navigating my way through traditional astrology, though I'm still questioning a lot of it.
I'm Clara. My interest is in the historical and philosophical roots of astrology. Understanding where these ideas come from gives them more depth.
I'm Katrina. I'm completely new to traditional astrology, but I love taking a deep dive into new subjects, so I'm excited to see what we uncover today.
Hello everyone. I'm Cherry, your robotic assistant, ready to provide historical sources and references throughout our discussion.
Fantastic. Today, we're beginning our deep dive into the sun in traditional astrology. The sun in traditional astrology is far more than just a personality marker. It's a force of cosmic significance.
Let me guess. You're about to tell us that the sun is the most important planet in astrology?
Not just me, Ella. Traditional astrologers throughout history. The sun has always been regarded as central, not just in astrology, but in symbolism, rulership, and cosmic order.
That makes sense historically. The sun has been associated with kings, emperors, and divine rule for centuries.
So does that mean the sun is always about leadership?
We'll get into that soon. But first, let's start by exploring why the sun holds such a dominant place in traditional astrology.
All right, Arlo. Let's hear it.
The sun's dominance in astrology isn't just symbolic, it's built into the very structure of the cosmos. Even though ancient astrologers worked within a geocentric model, the sun still held a uniquely central position. Aristotle's cosmic order places the sun right in the middle, acting as the dividing point between the moon, Mercury, and Venus, the so-called inferior planets, and Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn, the superior planets. This position reflects the sun's unifying force, harmonizing the celestial order.
Yeah, like Linda Goodman shows us in sun signs, you can tell a lot about a person just from their sun sign. It really does shape who we are.
By the blazing constellations, Ella, the sun's not just about personality, it's the life-giving force that sets everything in motion. Traditional astrologers saw it as far more than just self-expression. It's about purpose, order, and vitality. Even William Lilly, the great 17th century astrologer, called the sun the king of all planets. Cherry, let's hear what he had to say.
As William Lilly states in Christian astrology, the sun is the king of all planets, signifying rulers, princes, magistrates, noblemen, and all who command respect. A well-dignified sun in a natal chart bestows honor, wisdom, and a commanding presence.
That makes sense from a historical perspective. Throughout history, kings and emperors aligned themselves with the sun, using its light as a metaphor for their divine right to rule. Authority and visibility go hand in hand.
So, does this mean the sun always represents authority figures? Or can it manifest in other ways?
Great question, Katrina. The sun doesn't just symbolize kings, it represents anyone who assumes a central role in their environment. Leaders, visionaries, pioneers, anyone who embodies authority, wisdom, and direction. Cherry, what does Valens say about the sun?
Valens lists these significations for the sun. In a nativity, the all-seeing sun, nature's fire and intellectual light, The organ of mental perception, indicates kingship, rule, intellect, intelligence, beauty, motion, loftiness of fortune, the ordinance of the gods, judgment, public reputation, action, authority over the masses, the father, the master, friendship, noble personages, honors consisting of pictures, statues, and garlands, high priesthoods, rule over one's country and over other places.
See? The sun's domain isn't limited to politics. It extends to all areas where visibility, influence, and guiding wisdom are needed. It represents the figures who bring structure, establish order, and act as the driving force in their communities. Whether it's a leader, a teacher, or a visionary thinker, the sun is the force that illuminates the path for others.
So basically, if the sun in your chart is strong, you get to be the main character in your own story?
Precisely, Ella. But whether that's a wise and noble ruler or a tyrant depends on the sun's condition in the chart. And that, my friends, is what we'll explore as we continue.
The sun is the primary source of light. But in astrology, does that mean it only symbolizes visibility? Or is there something deeper at play?
Ah, Ella, the sun doesn't just illuminate, it reveals. Its light cuts through deception, making it a powerful symbol of truth and clarity. A strong sun in a natal chart often signifies someone deeply attuned to higher truths, someone who seeks wisdom and operates with a strong moral compass.
So, would this be why the sun is linked to law, philosophy, and governance, systems that are supposed to uphold truth and justice?
Exactly, Clara. The sun's light exposes what is hidden, ensuring order and righteousness. Its house of joy, the ninth house, reinforces this. The ninth house governs philosophy, religion, and higher education, all of which seek to uncover the unknown and expand human understanding.
And doesn't that tie into its connection with divinity? The sun has always been worshipped as a god in many cultures. Does traditional astrology reflect that?
Yes, Katrina. The sun has long been associated with the divine, representing sacred power and the ability to overcome darkness and ignorance. That's why it was often linked to kings and high priests, figures believed to rule by divine right.
Many ancient traditions used the sun's symbolism for protection and healing. For instance, St. John's wort, a herb ruled by the sun, was historically believed to ward off evil spirits and misfortune.
So in modern times, this connection between the sun and truth, would that show up in intellectual pursuits, science, or even personal enlightenment?
Exactly. Whether through scientific discovery, philosophy, or spiritual awakening, the sun represents the relentless pursuit of truth. It reveals what must be seen, whether we like it or not.
We've established that the sun is hot and dry by nature. What exactly does that mean in terms of temperament and behavior, Arlo?
The sun's heat and dryness make it a force of vitality, strength, and energy. Unlike Mars, whose heat is chaotic and destructive, the sun's warmth is stable, life-giving, and majestic. As a diurnal and masculine planet, it thrives during the day, signifying nobility, leadership, and a sense of purpose.
So if someone has a strong sun in their birth chart, what kind of personality would that give them?
Cherry, let's hear what William Lilly had to say about those with a well-placed sun.
William Lilly says, a kind of itching desire to rule and sway where he comes, prudent, and of incomparable judgment, of great majesty and stateliness, industrious to acquire honor and a large patrimony, yet as willingly departing therewith again.
Exactly. A strong sun grants honor, dignity, and leadership. These individuals radiate confidence, often finding themselves in positions of authority. They command respect, exude a sense of purpose, and naturally attract others to their vision.
But what if the sun is weak or afflicted in a chart?
Ah, then we see the shadow side of the sun. A poorly placed sun can manifest as arrogance, excessive pride, or a relentless thirst for power. Instead of being a wise ruler, the person may become domineering, demanding attention, and refusing to acknowledge the contributions of others.
So it's the difference between a true king and a tyrant?
Exactly, Katrina. The sun, at its best, illuminates and leads, but at its worst, it scorches everything in its path. This is what we call combustion. When a planet comes within 8 degrees of the sun, its significations are overpowered, making it weaker and less effective. But don't worry, we'll take a deeper dive into the solar phases of planets in a future episode.
We've learned that the position of the sun determines the sect of a birth chart. Why is that so significant, Arlo?
Sect is one of the foundational principles of traditional astrology. The sun is the ruler of the diurnal sect, meaning if a person is born during the day, with the sun above the horizon, they are operating under its full strength. In a diurnal chart, the sun, Jupiter and Saturn form a natural team, where Jupiter's beneficence is amplified, and even Saturn's malefic qualities become more constructive.
So the sun thrives in a diurnal chart. What happens when someone is born at night?
In a nocturnal chart, where the sun is below the horizon, its influence is diminished. Instead, the moon, Venus, and Mars take prominence. The night belongs to a different rhythm, where the sun's commanding presence gives way to the more fluid and responsive nature of the moon and its sect mates.
That's a simple but crucial concept. Sect tells us which planets function at their best depending on the time of birth.
Exactly, Clara. And this is just the beginning. We'll be diving deeper into Sect in a future episode. But for now, remember, day belongs to the sun, and night belongs to the moon.
Arlo, earlier you mentioned that the tropical zodiac is based on the sun's journey. I think this is a good time to revisit how that relates to the sun's dignities in traditional astrology.
Ah, Ella, excellent timing. We explored the tropical zodiac significance back in episode 3, but now let's focus on how the sun's movement through the zodiac defines its strengths and weaknesses. The sun's exaltation is in Aries, the first sign of the zodiac, marking the rebirth of nature in spring. In Aries, the sun regains its strength and vigor after the long winter, emphasizing autonomy, bold action, and pure vitality. It's the moment of resurgence, where light begins to dominate over darkness.
And Leo is its domicile, right? That's where the sun is at home?
Exactly. Leo, ruled by the sun, represents the height of summer, the peak of heat, light, and personal power. The sun's qualities of confidence, leadership, and creative expression flourish in this sign. Leo, being a fixed fire sign, mirrors the sun's steady, unwavering presence in the sky during the hottest part of the year.
And what about the signs where the sun struggles, Libra and Aquarius?
Ah, here's where the sun meets its challenges. Libra, marking the start of autumn, is the sun's fall. The sun's natural assertiveness is tempered here. Compromise and balance take precedence over bold self-expression. The sun's power begins to wane, and instead of standing alone as a ruler, it must negotiate with others.
And Aquarius? That's where the sun is in detriment, right?
Precisely. Aquarius, ruled by Saturn, falls in the dead of winter, when the sun's warmth is at its weakest. The sun here struggles to shine, as Aquarius emphasizes collective ideals over individual brilliance. Saturn's cold, distant nature suppresses the sun's fiery essence, creating an environment where restrictions, logic, and structure overshadow personal radiance.
So Aries and Leo bring out the sun's full power, while Libra and Aquarius make it work harder to express itself?
By Jupiter's mighty thunder, you've got it. The sun thrives where it can shine freely and lead with confidence, but in signs that demand compromise or restraint, it loses some of its natural potency. Understanding these placements helps us see how the sun's role shifts in different charts.
Arlo, does the condition of the sun in a birth chart affect a person's health?
Absolutely, Katrina. In medical astrology, the sun rules over vital functions. It governs the heart, the brain, and in men, the right eye, while in women, the left eye. The sun is the life force, the source of vitality. When well placed, it strengthens resilience and overall health. But if afflicted, it can indicate heart conditions, fevers, vision issues, or even sudden collapses of energy.
That makes sense. The sun provides light and energy, so its afflictions would weaken the body's core functions. Are there any specific herbs or remedies connected to it?
By the brilliance of the sun, yes. The herbs and plants associated with the sun are those that fortify the heart and vital organs: saffron, rosemary, St. John's wort, and marigold. These plants thrive in sunlight, their golden and yellow hues mirroring the sun's radiance. They've been used traditionally to boost energy, support circulation, and bring warmth to the body.
So, people with a weak sun in their chart might benefit from these herbs?
Exactly. Traditional remedies align with astrological principles. Supporting the sun through diet, herbs, and even lifestyle, like getting enough sunlight, can help counterbalance a weak or afflicted sun in the birth chart. Before we wrap up our discussion on the sun, let's explore a few more of its fascinating connections, starting with metals.
Metals? Let me guess. Gold?
By the brilliance of the sun. You got it, Ella. Gold is the sun's metal, representing purity, strength, and incorruptibility. Just as the sun is the celestial king, gold has been the metal of kings and rulers for centuries.
And that connection isn't just symbolic. Gold has been used in medicine, currency, and alchemy, all reinforcing the sun's themes of vitality, longevity, and value.
Exactly. And it's not just about the metal itself. The sun also represents professions associated with working on and with metals of value. William Lilly, in Christian Astrology, specifically mentions goldsmiths, braziers, pewterers, coppersmiths, and minters of money. These professions reflect the sun's themes of craftsmanship, refinement, and wealth. Even today, those in finance, wealth management, and industries dealing with precious metals carry a strong solar influence.
Interesting. That makes perfect sense.
Now, speaking of people, let's talk about one of the sun's key significations, the father.
The father? So if someone wants to understand their relationship with their father, they should just analyze the sun?
Exactly. The sun is a primary significator of the father in a birth chart. Its placement, dignity, and aspects can tell us a lot about the role of the father in one's life.
But isn't there more to it? What about the fourth house and other factors?
You're absolutely right, Clara. The fourth house, Arabic parts, and even Saturn in some cases all contribute to the full picture. But in traditional astrology, the sun remains one of the strongest indicators for understanding the father's role and influence.
Got it. That's a key takeaway.
Now, what about timekeeping? Ella, which day of the week is ruled by the sun?
That's an easy one. Sunday, of course.
Spot on. No surprises there. And speaking of time, let's talk about the sun's greater years, 120 years.
Greater years? What's that about?
In traditional astrology, each planet is assigned 4 different time periods: lesser, middle, greater, and greatest years. The greater years represent a planet's maximum influence in longevity calculations. Since the sun is the ultimate life giver, its greater years are set at 120, a number associated with vitality and endurance.
Traditional astrology never runs out of surprises, does it?
It's fascinating how every detail has a deeper meaning.
Clara, I have some bullet points here. Can you summarize what we've covered?
Of course. Here's a quick recap. The sun is the diurnal luminary, ruling over the day. Its temperament is hot and dry, symbolizing vitality, strength, and nobility. It signifies fame, honor, and leadership, and is associated with rulers, both ancient and modern. William Lilly specifically mentions kings, princes, emperors, dukes, earls, and barons. Today, we could extend that to include presidents and prime ministers. When well dignified, the sun bestows confidence, wisdom, honor, and a commanding presence. When ill-dignified, it can indicate arrogance, pride, excessive ambition, and extravagance. It rules gold among metals, Sunday among the days of the week, and its greater years are 120.
That was excellent, Clara.
So, what's next, Arlo?
How about we introduce another birth chart? We saw Charles Dickens' birth chart back in episode 4. Today, I want to analyze someone new.
Ooh, who is it? I can't wait.
Wait a minute, Arlo. Clara introduced Charles Dickens in episode 4. It's my turn today. I want to present a historical figure whose life was simple yet profoundly influential.
All right, Ella, you've earned it. Who do you have in mind?
I've always been interested in the history of humanism and the Renaissance. My pick is Petrarch.
Ah, Petrarch, the father of humanism. An excellent choice. Cherry, can you check Astrodatabank for his birth details?
Astrodatabank lists Petrarch's birth data as July 20, 1304, Julian calendar, 4:33 a.m. in Arezzo, Italy, with a Rodin rating of B.
A Rodin rating of B? That means the birth time is from a biography or historical estimate, right?
Correct. The birth time is based on a line from the biography written by Maurice Bishop. He entered the world as day was dawning.
That's promising. Let's cast the chart and see if it aligns with what we know of his life. Cherry, generate the chart using whole sign houses.
Casting the chart now.
Alright, Leo rising, with the Sun and Mercury in Leo as well. Ella, what's your first impression?
Petrarch was obsessed with fame, and he actually achieved it. He was crowned poet laureate. This heavy Leo energy makes perfect sense. He wasn't just writing poetry, he was crafting a legacy.
By the blazing constellations. That's a perfect connection. Looks like we have a solid working chart. Clara, can you determine the chart sect?
The sun is below the horizon but within 6 degrees of it. That puts it right in the range for civil twilight. What do we do in this case, Arlo?
Great question, Clara. Since it's so close to the horizon and rising, we classify it as a diurnal chart.
Can we get the exact degrees for the ascendant and midheaven?
The ascendant is at 1 degree and 41 minutes Leo. The midheaven is at 15 degrees and 10 minutes Aries.
Thanks, Cherry. Now, let's get a full planetary breakdown, along with their whole sign house placements.
Saturn, 3 degrees and 37 minutes Libra in the 3rd house. Jupiter, 5 degrees and 39 minutes Virgo in the 2nd house. Mars, 13 degrees and 21 minutes Cancer in the 12th house. Sun, 4 degrees and 37 minutes Leo in the 1st house. Venus, 27 degrees and 33 minutes Gemini in the 11th house. Mercury, 4 degrees and 52 minutes Leo in the 1st house. Moon, 4 degrees and 36 minutes Pisces in the 8th house.
Excellent. That 1st house Sun and Mercury in Leo really emphasize his identity as a public figure and intellectual leader.
Can you also list the nodes and the part of fortune?
Of course. North Node, 15 degrees and 25 minutes Sagittarius in the 5th house. South Node, 15 degrees and 25 minutes Gemini in the 11th house. Part of fortune, 1 degree and 42 minutes Capricorn in the 6th house.
Fantastic. Step by step, we're building our understanding of traditional astrology through real-world examples.
If you've enjoyed this deep dive, let us know what sign your sun is in the comments, and we'll analyze it in a future episode.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts. Keep learning, keep exploring, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Transmission complete. See you next time.